There have been case reports of people developing liver issues with intake of turmeric. Food is also medicine, and the herbs, if taken improperly or in excessive quantities, they are likely to cause more harm than benefit. Hello everyone, Namaskaram. Welcome to today's video. This is the second part of the series on your body's waste management system. Today we will discuss the role of liver and bile in the fat metabolism and in cleansing of blood. So let's begin. Bile, it's a yellowish greenish liquid produced by the liver cells. It consists of water, bile salts and cholesterol. As the fat particles in the food are not water soluble, they tend to repel the lining of the intestinal cells and they cannot be absorbed without a mediator. Just like when you scrub a greasy pan, the water just slides off the oil layer and you need soap to deal with that greasy mess. Similarly, these bile salts, they act as a referee and they attach to the large fat globules. This then allows these large fat globules to break down into smaller particles and then they can be transported across the intestinal cell lining. The second function of bile is to get rid of some of the excess cholesterol and fat-soluble toxins or medications. These toxins or medications, which are then bound to the bile salts, are excreted in the poop. There are certain cholesterol-lowering medications which bind to these bile acids and they increase their excretion in the stools, thereby getting rid of some of the cholesterol as well. Next, moving on to the function of the liver. Liver is the gatekeeper for all the digested food and nutrition that enters the body. It acts like a carbon filter with the mechanical cleaning effect as well as a chemical detoxification factory. The blood and lymph that comes out of the intestines, it's packed with protein peptides, with smaller sugar, smaller fat particles, and all of these can also come along with the harmful bacteria, bacterial toxin or viruses coming from contaminated food or drinks. So all this blood first directly goes to the liver where the bacteria, the viruses and dead cells, they get entrapped in the meshwork of liver cells which has many bacteria chomping white blood cells. The blood from the spleen also goes to the liver first directly. Spleen is the station where old and inefficient red cells and precancerous cells or abnormal cells are broken down. All these dead cells are also chomped up by the liver. Your liver also breaks down your excessive hormones in the bloodstream, and this includes insulin and your steroid hormones. It manufactures and breaks down other proteins like albumin, coagulation proteins, and body's defensive antibodies. It is a storehouse of calories and it stores about 100 grams of glycogen, which is the storage form of glucose. It produces and stores cholesterols and triglycerides. So in any state of starvation or prolonged fasting, all these stores come into an interplay. And even when you go hungry for prolonged periods of time, there's still sufficient glucose and fatty acids in the system which can be utilized by your brain and your muscle cells. So liver is the primary storehouse of all of this energy. In people with abdominal obesity and insulin resistance, the liver cells become abnormal and they start to store excessive amounts of fats, causing ballooning of the liver cells when they get stuffed with globules of fat, which then can cause cell damage and a very high risk of future liver failure. Per Ayurveda, liver is governed by the Pitta or the fiery bioenergy. The foods that can calm the Pitta will also be beneficial for liver health and will allow it some rest. These would be beneficial for people with a large waist circumference and those whose labs are suggestive of a fatty liver. Please see the previous video on 1000 types of diets or more. for more details on this. Pitta balancing foods, they include cold and cooling foods like cucumbers, squashes, zucchinis, winter melon, celery, lettuce, green beans, cauliflower, cabbage, coconut water, and sweet fruits like peaches, pears, plums, persimmons, honeydew, and cantaloupe melons. Very sour and citrusy foods, they tend to worsen the pitta. So if it is already out of balance, if you already have a lot of heartburn, acidity issues, or a fatty liver, best to avoid too much of sour items like tomatoes, ketchup, chipotle sauces, vinegar, and tamarind. Too much of fermented foods like yogurt, alcohol, cheese, soy sauce, barbecue sauces will also worsen these symptoms. Very spicy and very salty foods with green chilies, red chilies, and caffeinated drinks will also aggravate the pitta and should be best avoided by those with early fatty liver or with upper gut symptoms. Herbs like ginger, coriander, black pepper, fennel, and mint are helpful. So is turmeric. There have been case reports of people developing liver issues with intake of turmeric. Turmeric has been used in the Indian tradition for thousands of years, and it is used as a medicine in both Ayurveda and Chinese medicine to treat disorders of spleen and liver. It has powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, and the curcumin in turmeric, it actually has hepatoprotective or liver protective properties. However, turmeric can be adulterated with contaminants like methanol yellow, which is a dye which can cause liver injury. Lead chromate is another commonly used adulterant because it looks similar to turmeric, but it is very harmful and it can actually cause DNA mutation and cancers. So the source of turmeric is very important, and it's best to use a trusted brand. A simple test to check for contamination is the water solubility test. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric to a clear glass of water. Pure turmeric tends to sink to the bottom as a residue. Initially, some turmeric particles will be suspended in the upper part of the water, but in 3 to 5 minutes, most will settle down and the water mostly becomes clear with very few suspended particles. However, if there are contaminants or adulterants, they form a dark yellow liquid, and it is difficult to see the settled down turmeric particles which have settled down even after 5 minutes. The manner and quantity of intake of turmeric is also important. Food is also medicine, and the herbs, if taken improperly or in excessive quantities, they are likely to cause more harm than benefit. If you have known liver issues, then it is probably best that you avoid using excessive turmeric, especially in the pill form, unless you've consulted with your physicians or a certified Ayurvedic practitioner. The traditional and time-tested way of taking turmeric is by using it as an ingredient in the Indian style seasoning mix. For this, you add 1 or 2 tablespoons of ghee or vegetable oil in a small pan. Then you add 1 teaspoon each of spices like cumin, mustard seeds, coriander powder, black pepper, and turmeric to this. This seasoning can now be added to a large pan of soup, lentils, or it can be used to stir fry your fresh vegetables or cooked rice. Another way to take turmeric is by taking it as a small marble-sized ball. This you can make by adding 1 or 2 teaspoons of water to 1 tablespoon of turmeric, and then you make a few bead or small marble-sized balls. However, this will stain your fingers yellow and make it appear like you stole a bag of Cheetos from your kid. So this brings us to the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed today's discussion. In our next video, which is my favorite topic, we will explore the role of the kidneys and the lungs in the excretion of acids and in maintenance of normal blood chemistries. Please like and don't forget to subscribe for more physiology and Ayurveda content. See you in the next video, and thank you for watching. Namaskaram.